You already know who it is. It is your boy Charlie Mack, and we got my beautiful best friend. Happy birthday, my beautiful love.
Oh,
She
thank
is
you.
turning a big 30 tomorrow, guys. Wish her a happy birthday, please. So, at Barbershop Talk, aka therapy session, what we do is just talk about everyday social topics that people scared to talk about, and hopefully we don't get judged, but if we do, we forgive you. So today we want to just let y'all listen to a few pieces of content that I run across, and sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't agree, but it's always great to talk about. So with that being said, I'm gonna let you listen to the first clip, and then we're gonna ask some questions and go from there. All right.
More masculine back then than they are now. Men worldwide were more masculine because we didn't have feminism. But see, the problem is black women, your mother's generation and your grandmother's generation, they really failed you guys because they told you you didn't need a man. Who raised these feminine, weak black men that you have a problem with? Who raised them? Who raised them? 80% of black children are born out of wedlock. Who raised them? Who? We did. Who's we? My mom or whoever my grandparents did. Black who? Women. Thank you. That's who raised them. You raised the very men you have a problem with. Black men are 51% childless, 64% in the middle class. And the problem keeps being that, well, the black men back there were stronger. Back then, we had more of law on our side, and we actually had more of a community. What happened, if you want the truth, was when the Great Society came in and black women were given a choice between government assistance and your men. Black women chose government assistance. As black male unemployment went down, black female welfare enrollment went up.
All right, guys. First, I want to say rest in peace to the late great big homie Kevin Samuels. Um, he just shed some light on my black community. So I have a question based off of that, and you can either drop a comment or you can just listen to me talk. Either or, I appreciate it. Okay, and then we're gonna ask my fine, beautiful wife over here some questions if I think I need her. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so we're gonna ask based off of that video, who raised? Because from the video, let me give you the content. The woman initially said that the weak, the men out here, meaning black men, majority of them are weak and feminine, right? So I'm like, that's interesting, intriguing. Let me ask the audience who raised the weak feminine black man in society today. Now, I don't know if you heard the content, but based off of that content, where the woman said that majority of black men out here today are weak and feminine. The question is, who raised the weak, feminine black man in society, and whose fault is it that they had the mentality or the belief system of a weak man? Woo, it's getting deep. So, at Barbershop Talk, hopefully I don't get fired, but I'm going to speak my mind at the end of the day. I believe Kevin Samuels was 100% right, because it doesn't mean that our moms are bad people. It just means that they made bad decisions and they did the best that they could do. But ultimately, it affected the man and how the man thinks. Um, and ultimately, when they become an adult, that's how they make a lot of decisions based off of emotions, to me. That's just to me living as a black man and having to go through transitions and phases of life. That's what I've had to deal with as far as I can't be impulsive when I'm mad. I have to think about it. It's called emotional intelligence. So our moms can't teach us that, and we need dads who have a relationship with God and a little education and discipline that can be a great example to us. So that's my answer to that question. I hope it wasn't too long winded. Do you have anything to say about it?
I do. So
Yes, I do think there are some cases where, so I think here to me it sounds like you're asking, who raised these people? Yes, the women raised these people because the men weren't part of the child's life, right?
Yes.
Now, we can say there are definitely some women that are probably the cause of why the father's not in the child's life. But men do have to take accountability for the ones that there may be mothers that will allow them, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do as a man.
A hundred
So it's
percent.
not always the woman's fault that the man isn't present in the child's life.
100%, and that's why I said that it's vital that a father has a relationship with God because I can testify that even though I had a relationship with God at the early ages of like 22, 23, that's when I began my spiritual journey, I was still making decisions based off of what I felt and what I knew. So, with that being said, that told me I have to change my mindset and behavior in order to impact my children in a better way. So you can be in your child's life short, basically in short terms. You can be in your child's life and still not impact them in a positive way.
Hmm.
So you have to be mindful of that. You have to set the example.
I agree.
Coolly. All right, so let's move on to the next one we're going to listen to.
Don't think men were more.
We should skip. Look, don't skip. We should skip it. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it. World. Look.
Movies, Sophia Stewart confirmed.
Even if they catch so, even if
We
they
gonna
catch,
fall out.
but what if they
All
catch you?
right, guys, here is the
I wouldn't give a
next
damn. Or this is
clip.
my justification. Take money, give a damn. Or this is my justification to take the matters off what I did. You don't, man. That's a lack of trust. I ain't trusting nobody going through my shit.
Been going through a man's phone this week.
Uh, it's a sign of weakness, a sign of insecurities. And nigga, it's a problem. Uh,
See, it's a problem.
man, that's a lack of trust. I ain't trusting nobody going through my shit, homie, like that. I wouldn't do shit, nah, man.
Nobody ever went through your phone.
No. We gonna fall out.
Even if they catch some, even if
We
they
gonna
catch,
fall out.
but what if they catch you doing something you're not supposed to do?
I wouldn't give a damn. This is my justification to take the matters off what I did. You didn't have no business going through my phone. Give a fuck what I did. Fuck you going through my phone for, man. I ain't going through yours. That's a person I couldn't trust.
But what if they saying I can't trust you because what I just saw?
Well, we need to leave each other. Yeah, we need to leave each other. Or keep pretending like we trust each other when we know we don't. So just like you had the idea,
Hey,
that's why
Charleston,
you
a
don't trust
fool.
me. And that's why I don't trust you. Because
I don't. I never went through a woman's
Man,
phone.
but-
That shit whack to me.
man, we gonna fall out. You go through my phone. I don't care what I'm doing, what I find. You don't go through my phone. Even if ain't nothing there, you go find something.
That's a bar.
That's a bar.
That's a
Hey,
bar.
shout out to Big
Man,
Bros.
if you look, you shall find.
Yeah.
You seeking. So what's this? Who is this bitch? Find something. Why she doing this, man? I don't, man. So you all that gonna come into play. But you ain't gonna let me go to your DMs and see all these niggas just woo all the niggas. You ain't gonna, man. You ain't gonna let me see your DMs to see what this, what that. But you'll go through mine and look at every woman that just send me a message who like.
All right, guys. I hope you gathered enough information about that clip. What do you feel about going the rules of going through a person's phone without their authorization? How do you feel about that, my darling? This is interesting. I love it.
I actually think what he said is the opposite. I think he said that going through their phone shows a lack of trust. I think if you're hiding and don't allow the trust of someone else using your phone or if you're in a relationship, it shows a lack of oneness. Because what are you hiding? What do you need privacy from in a relationship? Um,
So, for example, I mean, some guys just love their privacy. What if a guy don't want you to see his porn? You see what I'm saying? It's
But
a
if you're
matter
in a
of freedom.
relationship, then that should be
But
something
what
that you
if he's not
discuss
comfortable?
in a
Yeah. So
relationship.
what if he's not comfortable with you? Do you have to respect it, or do you
Well, then that's
say,
something that just what he said, that is a lack of trust with your partner. If you're not comfortable enough in a marriage specifically, if you're not comfortable enough with sharing everything, that's a lack of oneness. So there is a lack of trust there. So you need to get to what the root of the problem is, because there shouldn't be a distrust. There should be a oneness in all things, in all aspects.
that is a great response. My question is, if a if part of a relationship is built off trust, why is a female having a desire to go through your phone, or an individual? I don't want to single anybody out. Why is um a individual having a desire to go through another individual's phone? Because like for me personally,
Yeah.
I never had that desire to go through
Yeah.
another individual's phone.
Yeah. Has
And
any has another individual ever given you a lack like a lack of trust, or a reason for you to feel the need to, I guess, would be the
I've
question.
I've actually just been secure. I never put my energy on. It's like if something run past me, I deal with it then, and then
Hmm.
I make the decision. But I won't go through your phone
Hmm.
on a consistent basis if I'm not going to leave you. Right?
Hmm.
How you feel about that?
I think it's, but again, it's a oneness. What does the other person want to hide in their phone? What is my thing?
All right, guys. So we're not going to get an answer from there. So we're going to move on to the next one. Shout out to my wife. All right, hold on. We're going to go to the next question. I mean, the next clip.
I should turn this
Feel like a
to
lot of
this.
men think that they are it. They are the. Feel like a lot of men think that they are it. They are the prize. They have to get chose. They can make the decisions. It's them. Well, if they're getting what we do, if they're getting chose, then I don't see how their reality tells them that's what it is. Right, but they think that five girls, women, whatever, choosing them is they're top. They're him. That's it. But that's not really the reason why a man would think that. Like, say five beautiful women want him. You know how choosy women are? Yes. So if five, I'm saying, so if five choosy women choose on one guy, then he gotta tell four of them, all right, I'm good, I got one. When a woman's being wined and dined by multiple men at the same time, does she have to pick? Or does she have the right to allow all those men to prove themselves? Okay. You gotta say yes or no. Okay, I'm gonna let you answer that.
Oh, okay. 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 All right, guys. So we just heard
Oh,
that
look,
clip.
my parents never trusted each other. They were together for 50 years for
How do
various
we pull that
reasons.
up again? And that happens in a relationship. So we've been together for 14 years, and it's definitely been far from perfect. But ultimately, it's more of about having an understanding, learning self, and growing with each other. Because at the end of the day, we are all we have. And why would you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody that you don't trust? What's going on, broski? We got my little broski Lost and Finest in the building. Go follow him. He is on his journey. He doing his thing. My parents never trusted each other in various reasons, even though they've been together. Hey, but that's great endurance. We always try to find a silver lining, you know what I mean? Because you can be with somebody with 50 years and um, I don't know how chaotic it was, but ultimately that's still great endurance and tolerance to have for each other. Um, what we do is communicate, and I continue to learn and educate myself and learn what my weaknesses are so we don't conflict on a consistent basis. So that's how we really, it's all about growth. Ain't nobody out here perfect, and we ain't trying to be perfect, but what we all do have in common is adversity, and we all go through it. So if we put our perspectives out there, that's what it's all about. Don't nobody know everything. Okay. So, from watching that clip, who is the prize? Is the man or the woman the prize? It's nobody's wrong. It's a right or wrong. It's a perspective, insight, subjective, but
Yeah.
logic. So, who is ultimately the prize in a relationship? The man, the woman, or both?
I definitely feel like it's both, right? I don't think that one is um, more important than the other in a relationship. But with the clip that we were listening to, the girl was saying, if 4 or 5 girls are after you as the man, why does the man think he's the prize? And then the man was saying, well, if 5 people are after me, then I am the prize. And she was like, oh, well, he has to pick one, right?
Hmm.
So ultimately, regardless of how many women want a man picks the woman he wants to marry, right?
Hmm.
So he's choosing which one he thinks is the prize to marry, right?
Yes, that's deep.
Ooh.
She just got
So is
deep.
it the man or the woman?
Okay. So all I can do is give my example from my experience, right? So I feel like, because what she did say is that it is the man's ultimate goal to marry the woman for him. The problem is that men, before they get married, sometimes they don't know themselves or they don't value themselves, and then they end up picking the wrong person because of the wrong intention. Maybe they didn't.
Women do the same.
No, I know
Yeah.
but ultimately the man is supposed to pick the one for
Right,
him
right, right.
to conquer his purpose, and that's where I was going to get to the message of, I think the man is ultimately the prize, but when they work together, the gift of marriage is the prize, though. But ultimately, it's like a man shouldn't have to go through obstacles in order to get to know a female. What's supposed to occur to me is that a man is supposed to have his purpose and know who he is and what he's looking for in a female,
Hmm.
and discipline himself not to go for the vajayjay. Because if you just go for the vajayjay, your purpose has been hindered, because we already know Genesis 2, right? So with that being said, it's more of have your purpose and then you become value. Once you have your purpose, if you're just a man out here living day to day, this is how society see you. God still values you as his child, but what society sees you as are probably lazy and not of value, and the wrong women out here might utilize you for the wrong purposes and then break your heart and make you look at all females in a negative light. And we don't want that, because that's the devil's ultimate plan. Wants to divide us, and if he divides us, how are we going to take care of the children of the future? So,
So
thank
you
you.
said that a woman shouldn't take a man through obstacles to get to know her. Do you think that on the flip side, a woman has to go through obstacles for a man to prove herself to a man? To prove herself as loyal, to prove herself? Do you think she has to
Well,
go through
I
obstacles?
believe if she's herself is not obstacles, right?
Hmm.
So if a man is looking for a woman who cooks, who doesn't mind giving him massages, and he's already that guy who is going to, he's a giver and receiver. He's not just a take, 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 or he's not just a I'm a give, 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 but he's a give and receive. If he sees those type of qualities in a female, how's that an obstacle? That's who she is, and that's what attracts him to her.
No, I'm saying some men feel like a woman has to prove herself or prove her loyalty.
Well, it depends on
And so,
what
is
some
that
men are.
obstacles, or is that because is that what you were saying for the same thing on the that a woman shouldn't create obstacles for a man? Is that the same thing you
Yes,
were
because
saying?
I'm saying the man is the prize. Because when you get married to a man, why doesn't the man get your last name? Why do you get the um, man's last name? And that's just biblically speaking. Now, if you don't believe in the Bible, I can't go off of what another man speaks. I
Well,
speak on.
biblically, it doesn't say the man's the prize. It says the man and the woman are equal.
Right, but the man leads.
Yes,
So it's like, so
absolutely.
the
But
man is the
that
prize.
doesn't mean
So
he's the
I mean,
prize.
so in my perspective, in
It
my
means he's the
opinion,
leader
but you get
according
his
to the
last
role.
name. So if you're just a helper, he is ultimately the prize because God gave him the purpose, correct? So I mean, that's just my perspective. Biblically, it's like
Doesn't say that biblically
what
though.
does it say?
Doesn't say the man is the prize. It
Oh,
says
no, I'm
biblically.
saying
It
I
says
said that's my
they're
perspective.
equal.
I still have a personality, right? So
Oh yeah.
because my personality, I'm saying because God has gave the man the role,
Uh huh.
and if they want to live in peace and harmony, plus have ultimate financial stability, she needs to follow that man's lead. So
Absolutely.
that
He's the
makes him the
lead. Doesn't
prize.
still
Because
doesn't makes him the leader.
we yet again don't agree. It's
What's
okay.
the definition of prize and what's the definition of leader? I think that's two different things. Because you were
Well,
saying he's the
well,
leader, which he
I
is.
mean
That's
that's
the
just
role.
how.
That's how God created it. But leader and prize have two different definitions.
Okay. Um, and sometimes you have the intellect woman, right? And it's like as long as she listens and does what she's supposed to do, you let her think whatever she wants to think. You are so right, baby. Give me a
I'm
kiss.
just saying.
She's
Show
right,
me where
guys.
it says it.
That's how you survive a marriage.
That's what it
We
says.
don't go back and forth. We agree to disagree, and I love her to death. All right. So we got one more clip we're going to play. We have one more clip. Oops. Please press that subscribe button. Pre- Throw the comment in there. Press a like. Okay, we have
He
one
said,
more.
yeah, my big brother a figure in Long Beach on top of what he's been through. His love broke his heart and already moved and he didn't want.
Think
Wait a
men
minute.
were movies. Like we look all the things.
So he talked about it with
If
remarks.
a man brings nothing to the table but great sex and if a man brings nothing to the table but great sex and attractiveness, what does that make him? Scrub. And if a woman brings nothing to the table but great sex and great looks, is she the same scrub? Well, it all depends. If a man takes somebody's life, what does that make him? A murderer. If a woman takes somebody's life, what does that make him? Her. A murderer. Let's go a little bit deeper, right? If a man is 500 pounds, what is he? Obese. No, I'm not asking you. Okay. We're talking here. If a man is 500 pounds, what is he? He's overweight. And if a woman is 500 pounds, what is he? She's overweight. If a woman eats a vagina, what is she? Disgusting. That makes her a dyke. And if a man sucks a penis, what is he? He's gay, homo. And is the woman the same thing? Yeah. So let's go back to the top because we got to do this. I got to walk y'all through this, right? So if a man offers nothing but great sex and attractiveness, he's a what again? He's a scrub. And if a woman offers the exact same thing, then what is she? She's trying to figure it out, see.
Tired of this, guys. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired. All right. So with that being said, we just heard that clip, and hearing that clip, I have to find the question I had for that. What do you think about as I'm looking for the question of that clip?
No, I think they both. Yeah.
Because what I see in that is a lot of double standard. It seems
Yeah.
like it's cool that a female can want this, this, and that, but as soon as a guy puts his standard up, oh, he's bougie, he's gay, he's soft. What is going on? What type of mentality is that? Can you talk to me real quick?
Oh, no, I definitely think both parties have to bring more than just attractiveness and sex to a relationship for it to be lasting. That's bottom line. Would be very short lived if those are the only two things each person was bringing to the relationship.
I agree. All right, guys. Let me see the next question. Are you a simp if you take a woman with multiple kids? Are you a simp if you take a woman with multiple kids?
With multiple kids or multiple kids
fathers
multiple kid fathers
or
or
multiple
multiple
kids.
kids in general.
Either
I would
way,
say, yeah, they're not yours.
I would say, do you think you are?
Yeah, I'm a super simp. I am the simp of the year, simp of the decade, actually. How about you? how about you?
No, absolutely not. My grandfather raised children that way. I think that it was very commonplace. I think it's not commonplace anymore because of the way people have been raised in the culture and state of the world now. I think back when, how we were saying, when men were men or women were women, when it wasn't the feminist movement, when it wasn't the, men acting the way they act today.
All right, guys, that means she's saying I'm a simp. Okay, we're going to
That's
move on
not
to the
what I
next question.
said.
Love her to death still.
I said no. I think
I
that's
know. And that's when you know you have a great woman. She'll tell a great lie. All right, we're going to move on to the next one.
my
Being,
maternal grandfather was not. He took my grandmother's 15 children and see,
hey, shout out to Grandpa, man.
and she took his 14 children.
And like I say, it's all subjective. Nothing is really facts. You understand? It's all like to me. I base my decisions off biblically. So I feel like me taking in my stepkids were me finding a responsibility to keep me focused so I wouldn't be out in the street smashing all the females, right? So that was my outlook on taking on the responsibility. Plus, I was literally in love with her because she carried herself in such a magnificent manner. Like she was stronger than most men, So she taught me how to get credit. She taught me how to go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and it not be too boring. So I was just immature, and but it still worked out ultimately. Raised some amazing kids. Ain't nobody perfect, but they are amazing kids, and we are living the life and talking about it now. All right, all right, guys. When should you be feminine in a relationship as a man? When should you be feminine in a relationship as a man? Talk to me.
I think in certain moments with your wife or your children, right? When there's moments of love or
Thank you,
nurturing or
broski. Love. I'm sorry, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said in moments of love and nurturing with your wife or children.
Okay.
When do you think a man should be feminine in a relationship? Never?
Yeah, that's when do you think I be feminine in a relationship?
Yeah, like with
It's
me
a
or the
balance.
kids based on.
It's a
Yeah.
balance. It's like when I'm just trying to show love because it's like if I don't do that, it just seems like I'm a angry black guy, and I'm just not an angry black guy unless you give me a reason to be angry. And now I'm mature enough to communicate, and if you don't want to communicate, let's distance ourselves, and that's how we deal with things. All right, guys. When should a woman be masculine in a relationship? When should a woman be masculine in a relationship?
Um, well, I feel like if a woman works, then she has to be masculine, like out in the world. But I think otherwise at home, only if there's a situation where the husband is lacking for whatever reason. Like, for example, when you were in your car accident and you were down, and so I had to take on roles or burdens of your
Hey,
responsibility.
shout out to her. She wiped my ass, guys. Hey, shout out to. We got to bring it up now though, cause it's like shout out to God also, cause I almost lost my life. I had to get helicoptered to the hospital, and I almost lost my life, and I was on. We gonna. I ain't gonna really talk, but God worked miracles, and she definitely took the masculine role, and she, because of her job, she showed me how she could take lead but stay feminine, but sometimes she did used to bring that masculinity um, home, and it caused a little conflict. But ultimately, I had to step up and mature and bring on more responsibilities and take less off of her for her to do that. And that's how life works, though. It's not just, while I want this and it happens, it has to be organic and authentic, I think. And that takes time if you go and meet the person where they at when you meet the person, if that makes sense. Drop a comment. Please press subscribe and drop a like. I appreciate it. All right. Did you answer that? Oh,
Yeah.
you did answer it. Okay.
Did you agree with my answer?
Of course, I agree with everything you say, babe.
Sure.
How do you guys feel about the ICE crackdown that's going on? What is your perspective? It's getting real out here. Like me personally, I'm not into politics. That's how I keep my peace. That's one of the ways I keep my peace. But because I'm a barber, a lot of people watch the news and I stay informed and I'm a little intuitive. So I like to ask questions. And it seems like it is crazy out here on this ICE situation. What do you think about that, babe?
Um,
Listen, and she's legal, by the way, okay? Just playing, just playing.
no.
She can't speak Spanish, guy. No, we got.
No, I think it's very unfortunate. I don't know. I think I don't know enough about it to really speak on it. I haven't paid close enough attention to it because, like you, I'm not watching the news or staying up on that. I think it's just too much and it takes your energy. But I don't think it's the way that they're doing it. I don't think they're going about it the right way. Just the things I've seen, like with the children and the cages and the
Oh wow, cages.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, I did not know all that was going on. I think with me, I think you gotta always be very careful with politics. So I'm not gonna say too much negative about politics, but at the end of the day, I think foreigners are very hard workers, and I respect them. Um, Give them people them green cards, man. Let them get them green cards, because at the end of the day, it's like if you're not bringing crime, well, they human beings also, and they also deserve an opportunity. That's just my take. You can drop a comment, drop a subscribe. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next question. Are mothers raising kids to be the people that they wouldn't even date? Ooh, are mothers raising kids to be the people that they wouldn't even date in real life? What you think about that, baby?
Well, I think the first problem in that is mothers raising kids. It should be mothers and fathers raising kids.
Yeah, it should be, but ultimately, we already got past that. We make stupid decisions based off emotions. You get the kids, and that's the consequences. So we can't go off it with should. We know the should part,
Hmm.
but what was the question? Don't even know the question. You see what I go through, guys? So we're gonna go. She say how she
You said,
feels.
are mothers raising children that they don't even want to date?
Okay, and
And
what
I
was your
said, my
answer?
answer was the first part of the problem
Okay,
with that question is it mothers. It should be mothers and fathers raising the
okay,
children,
but
not just
so is that your
mothers.
final answer, and that's
Yes.
it? Okay,
Yes.
guys.
It's my
So do
final
you,
answer.
and I don't believe that was an answer.
500, Alex.
And she's wrong. So look, let me give you my answer. I believe that females ultimately don't know what they want. That's why they need a strong man. We were just reading Genesis 2 where it was
Hmm.
talking about the man and the woman sinning, and all these years I've been on my spiritual journey since I was about 23. I did not be aware that Satan came to earth to tempt the woman, not the man. He used the woman to tempt the man. So that's why it's very imperative that we have a relationship with God, because if we not on our purpose and we're not disciplined and controlled by ourselves, we are susceptible to a woman's wrath if she's have bad intentions. So you have to find God in order for him to give you that spirit to become disciplined and patient and wait for him to bring you that while you're focusing on your purpose. Don't chase the panties. I did that for years, but I didn't lose no money. I lost time. And time is the worst thing you can waste.
You wasted money too.
Well, money comes and goes.
Yeah, but it's
Time you
still
don't get back.
true, but it's still wasted money. But I think that a woman can still. There are women that are women of God that also can have the wrath of a man if a man have wrong intent.
But do you understand that if you let the Holy Spirit lead you and you don't go off emotion, he'll give you discernment. That's what it's called, discernment. Now, it's up to you with your free will. You remember Eve had free will and she chose to eat the apple and then make the man eat the
Oh, he
apple.
didn't. No, she didn't make him. He had free will to do it too.
Persuaded. I'm sorry. Didn't
Satan
make.
persuaded the woman.
Right. And she ate it and then said, "You eat this too." And because he loved her, he ate it. But it was disobeying God's word. Why are you continuing to try to twist this?
It's not
If
twisting
I thought
it.
we already had the scenario
We did.
understood. It's